I'm very excited about CA South's future. I think we've got an incredibly dynamic team, and we've got such a long runway in terms of what we're capable of doing.
I see a ton of growth for CAS. It's a company everybody should be watching.
I have a lot of respect for Meg and the CA South organization. What she is bringing here is very unique, something this market hasn't seen before.
CA South is known for just making really big moves. I mean, that's what Meg is all about. She's fierce and determined, and someone I really look up to.
Meg Epstein and CA South were named our Entrepreneur of the Year at this year's Next Awards.
She is very talented in our industry, and we have a bright future for 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, I think our vision is changing, the Nashville skyline and kind of breaking out of the norm of the Nashville architecture that we've seen in the past, and hopefully inspiring others to do the same.
When you see a CA South building, you can immediately tell it's one of our buildings. We have a very high-touch approach to amenities and accessibility that make it easier to live, but still at an affordable price point.
I mean, for Meg to come in 2016 with this concept and her own philosophy, and to be the market leader that they are today is just an extraordinary velocity story.
It's been quite impressive to go from small private deals to essentially institutional deals and running a company with several $1 billion under development now. I met Meg several years ago. She reached out to me. We had a meeting in New York, and we sat down. We talked about the kind of deals that she was doing and her vision for the company, and I was impressed from day one.
CA South really stands out because of its leader, Meg Epstein. She will surprise you. She is shy, and when you first meet her, might not say a lot, but when she does, everybody listens.
I was born in Sacramento, which is a similar sized town to Nashville, to amazing parents. My dad's a very blue-collar guy. He was an entrepreneur himself, and that really instilled a strong work ethic in me. I spent 5 years on job sites, so I know a lot about grading, pouring concrete, framing. All of these things have given me a lot of background for when I walk my own job sites today. When I first got to Nashville, I started CA South by doing luxury homes because that was my background in California. It turns out it's a lot easier to build an apartment building than a $60 million home for a private user. My first project was River Tower, which became Eve, and we joked that was the project with 9 lives. It died so many times because it didn't make financial sense. We were building on the water, and that's where I really learned how to push through and overcome barriers in development. I've been successful in Nashville because I've taken larger city principles and applied them to a smaller town in the southeast.
I think, Meg got here at the right time. Things were changing in the city. A lot of people were moving here. There was a demand for something that felt a lot less commodity.
Some of the things that appeal to people from larger cities are very modern architecture, for example, incorporating local art, walkability, and wellness that you don't typically see in the Southeast.
A lot of our work focuses on improving public spaces in Nashville and around the region. And so I think that's been a real interest level and passion of Meg and her work.
I think she is able to provide a unique approach to the development world, the real estate world, really honing in on local artists and the community.
Everybody really has that ethos. It's not just the design folks, it's accounting. Everyone supports that, and I think that's really unique, and it creates a specific energy.
What's unique about CA South on the construction side is, we have a design ethos, and so we try to avoid, building what most people here in Nashville build, and so it, makes it a little bit more of a challenge on our side, but a fun challenge. So one of the main construction projects I'm working on right now is Pie Town. It's over in the Gulch of Nashville. It's very different from what you see. It's off-place windows, big balconies, kind of a dark metal exterior.
And just seeing live vegetation on the building and just creating something that looks like it rose from the ground versus something that was just planted there. I think there's a lot of energy in those designs, and I think they're creative. And honestly, if you've met Meg, then I think it's representative of who she is.
CA South took a data-driven approach when we got to Nashville and focused on assets that were very undersupplied. Condos are undersupplied because they're harder to finance and more difficult to build. So we've figured out those hurdles and been able to supply a product that is unique to this market. Illume was the first project I sold in Nashville that were condos we allowed to short-term rent them. It sold out in a matter of weeks. It was extremely successful, really laid the groundwork for our other short-term rental condo projects.
Affordability is a major issue for residential in Nashville, and I love the fact that CA South builds these extraordinary communities, great livability, quality of life, but they also keep an eye on affordability.
Bringing high-quality, modern design that is as affordable as possible to the broadest range of people starts with Meg.
When I first joined CA South 2 years ago, I think Meg was pretty visionary in what she saw the next steps of the city's growth pattern was, whether it be East Nashville or Wedgwood, Houston, which is where I'm sitting today in our new, brand new headquarters.
Her team has really been able to pivot to what the market is telling them.
The path of development's so long that you have to look at what the area is going to be by the time you finish it as opposed to what it is now, which takes some imagination and creativity that sometimes institutional investors don't see. So bridging that gap is a big part of my role.
It's been a really exciting time to ride the industrial wave, which we've had some very successful projects.
Callis Road was a 375,000 square foot logistics park. And at the time when I went to go get it financed, people said it was too far out there. There were no gas stations. It ended up being a home run project that we sold this year.
Yeah, CA South is diversifying. They're venturing into larger mixed-use communities. They have 2 projects right now that I'm working on. We hope to master plan 1,500 to 2,000 residential units of varying product types.
Right now, we're extremely focused on opportunity zone multifamily projects that are underwritten over a 10-year horizon because we believe in the growth of Nashville.
So there's a couple avenues that I'm focused on with the firm is advising our strategy, especially with our industrial investment horizons across the Southeast in particular. And then second, equity source capital and different partners for Meg in order to grow the platform.
The biggest challenges we're currently faced with are navigating this capital market and making sure that we're building the right type of projects and scaling up in the correct way. We found that strong returns for our investors have kept them coming back up to 5 to 6 projects in some cases. You have to have a lot of conviction in your projects to put your money where your mouth is, but it's always worked because in the end, the better project makes more money.
Every developer on the planet wants to be in this market. So the trick is getting to the sites and getting them under contract and closed. And I will say CA South has an extraordinary track record of being successful in a super competitive environment.
There's not a lot slowing down in Nashville in general, so I think the future is really bright for the city, and CA South believes in Nashville, and we're here to be part of that.
We're creating homes for people, we're creating businesses for people. It's really exciting to have a small part in a lot of people's lives.
Having a really big impact on not only the development but also the communities that we're working in, what my girls will get to grow up and see and know that maybe one day, like, yeah, my mom had a small little part in that, you know? I don't know, it's just cool.
I attribute CA South's meteoric success here in Nashville to Meg Epstein's vision.
Simply put, Meg Epstein is a badass. She makes us all look good.
I'm excited about the future because I think that as a nation, we're moving more towards the Southeast and the principles that made Nashville grow so much. And so the markets we're in, I think, will continue to experience exponential growth.
We've been very successful in Nashville, Tennessee, and we look forward to offering the same sort of quality and consideration to other Southeast markets.
Now we're growing it to Savannah, to Charleston, to Huntsville. Ultimately, we're going to think about Atlanta, Charlotte, Raleigh.
While other people are shrinking, we're doubling down and continuing to expand because we think the next 10 years here in the Southeast is going to be very strong.
Ultimately, what we want to have as the outcome is have Meg on the cover of Forbes magazine in 2023 or 2024 as a $3-4 billion enterprise, and we are destined on that, making sure that happens.
Nashville's given me a home where I can build an amazing company and do projects that impact others around me. Nashville gave me the opportunity to accomplish my dreams.